What is really good, everybody, and welcome back to the podcast. Welcome in, welcome in. The end of the year is usually my favorite time that I've noticed when it comes to making content because there's so many things to talk about, right? Like, how did the year go? What are you looking forward to the next year? On the book side, everything that I read, everything that I want to read next year, it like goes hand in hand, right? The turn of the year brings with it a lot of interesting things. So this year, like every year, we got to talk about the elephant in the room. And the elephant in the room is New Year's resolutions, right? I 3 years ago started talking about how much I don't like a New Year's resolution in quotes because I have felt that for the most part, our New Year's resolution is just something you're not going to stick to. When somebody tells me, "Hey, I have a New Year's resolution, here's what it is," you're telling me what you're not going to do next year, not what you're planning to do next year, is essentially how it feels, right? Because there's so much that not so much, but there is a negative stigma attached to New Year's resolutions, which is you start it at the beginning of the year, you fall off at some point in the spring or after the first month or in the first quarter, and then the rest of the year is just back to normal, and then you just have the same resolution again next at the end of the year. Oh well, I'll try again at the beginning of next year, and that really doesn't work for me, and I didn't like that. So I started reframing it for myself because a lot of what I've been doing this year is reframing. I instead of um, trying to be 1% better every day, I try to look for active challenges every day. When I'm awake, I try to look for active challenges. What can I do today that would feel like an active challenge for me? A challenge for me to overcome. Right? That's my 1% better. But framing it as an active challenge makes me actually commit to um, the process, the behavior, etc., the actions, as opposed to just saying, "How can I be 1% better today when I wake up?" That just wasn't working for me. And the same way, a New Year's resolution was not working for me. Instead, I developed my yearly mottos, and my yearly mottos are mainly just a frame to live the year by. So, like anything that I do, it's within that frame, and I can apply that frame to it. The first year was just very loose. It was just be better. But I really felt that every time I was trying to do something, whether I was climbing or starting to create content or reading more or going out with friends and dancing or, even in my work, I was always thinking about, "Is this a place where I can be better? In this position that I'm in, can I be better in this position right now?" And it really helped. The next year for 2023, well, that was my 2023 motto. For 2024, I had a motto. It was kind of loose, and I don't think it helped that much, mainly because just a lot of drastic things happened in my life in terms of change. But it was make it private, make it profitable, make it private, make it profitable, and it was my attempt to keep more information close to the chest, not share a lot with people, and then try and um, continue on this content path, continue on the path in Fableware, and I try and monetize the things that I'm doing that I have hobbies of. Um, that didn't work per se. Um, but in 2025, I did get my first ever UGC opportunity where I made like $13, trying like $20. So I think that's cool, right? First time for new things. Um, so my motto for 2025 was very like I don't even remember what it was at this point because I was just such a rut in 2024 that going into 2025 I was just like, "Yo, just try something, just try something." But I am in a very very active, motivated frame of mind right now, and I really want to get after the things that I want to get after now and going into 2026 to set up 2026 much better than I set up 2025 for myself. So my motto for 2026, and I'm going to announce it right now, is remember 2022 Arish. That's my motto. And it's not to say that remember to be better. It is to remind myself that I admire who I was back in 2022. I was um really getting after the goals that I had. I was eating better, I was very physically active, I was, um, learning and sharing things that I learned constantly. I was trying new things. I was applying myself as much as I could in everything that I was doing. I was also hanging out with friends, because I was living with a roommate in Dallas, so I had the opportunity to see friends. I wasn't married at that time, so and I was still long distance with my now wife. So, I had an opportunity to see friends and everything like that. But I look back to videos that I made in 2022, and I just see this level of intrigue and excitement and curiosity and just a level of, for lack of a better, maybe a little bit of hunger in 2022 hours that I've lost because I feel like I've just been in limbo for a couple of years and not knowing what to do. But I want to revisit that hunger, revisit that excitement, revisit you know, ap- applying yourself towards your goals every day in some way, form, or fashion, right? Like, I don't know if 2026 I'm going to get back into calisthenics, but what I do know is that when I partake in the physical activities I'm going to be partaking in 2026, I'm going to try and look for the excitement. I'm going to try and look for the joy. I'm going to try and find something to make me addicted to it again, the way I was addicted to calisthenics and getting after it, all that stuff, right? I'm also started even at the end of this year watching more anime because I stopped really watching anime this year as well when I started just like reading a lot and all that stuff. I just had no time for it. Um, because whether I like it or not, it was one of the main driving forces that motivated me to be physically active and be a physically active demon whenever I was climbing or training calisthenics or doing whatever dancing, even doing whatever physical activity I was doing, I was always motivated through anime. And having dropped that, I feel like I've dropped one of these sources that kept my fire going. And so now my fire is low and I want it back. So I think about these things as I go into 2026 of like what was I doing back then that made me like so passionate about the things that I was doing and made it to where things didn't set me back. I pushed myself forward all the time. I didn't get hurt as often. I didn't get any even if I did, I was bouncing back from it quickly and or just applying myself differently. Like, okay, maybe this part of my body hurts, so I can still move this part of my body. And I have time to do this, so I should do this right now. I have time to do this, I should do this right now. I have time to do this, I should do this right now. I was always getting after. I was a pretty proactive person. So I want to do things and that remind me and take me back to 2022 Arish. Um, and so I do have a large set of goals for myself that I want to attempt next year. I do understand, and I actually have a thing. I have like a 5 point list of things to consider when creating goals or creating my motto for next year that I want to share with you guys, which I'm hoping will help me and help you achieve those goals more efficiently, more effectively, and stick to them. Because a lot of the times people set goals that span the entire year. They're not definite, finite goals that have an ending. They kind of just like something that you want to do during the year, which I think has its place. But I do think it is important to have like goals that have an end. A lot of the times why I think runners are pretty good like, have pretty good goal setting records is because they say, "I want to run this marathon or this half marathon or this 5K." So they train for the 5K and then run the 5K, and then their goal is done. And then they can look forward to the next fresh new goal, which I wanna get to freshness in a second. So they have like a reset now. Okay, one goal is done, reset to the next goal. Now they're refreshed. They're motivated to get after something new again, which the next goal might be the upcoming half marathon, the upcoming full marathon, etc. Right? And so I do admire that about runners is their goal is this race. Maybe once they're used to like running, then their goal is this time. Right? I want to get this amount of time, or I want to run this amount of miles, or like it's finite, it's definitive, it's descriptive. You can quantify it, right? Um, so that's what I want to talk about. Um, So here are 5 things to consider when creating goals or a motto, right? The first thing is tell people about it constantly because what we've noticed through people doing studies on this kind of stuff is the more often you tell people about your goals, the more people you're inviting to support you and keep you accountable to those goals. And the people who create goals and share them and are social about them, on average, achieve those goals, on average, are more likely to achieve those goals than those who aren't. So, a lot of the times we do try to keep in our aspirations because there is that little bit of effect of if I tell you that I want this thing and you say, dude, that sounds so dope, get after it, you got it. And you get this rush of like approval and acceptance and dopamine just by telling somebody that what you want to do. You haven't even done it yet. A lot of the times we just end up not doing it. Have you noticed that? It's not just a me thing, I promise you. It's a very common thing. And so if you've noticed it, you might think, oh, I should not tell people about these things so that I actually get after it. But what I would say is tell people about what you're doing, not what you want to do. So what I would say is, hey, if you want to in the new year start walking every morning, when you're out the door walking, then you tell somebody, "Hey, I'm walking right now," or you post your story or whatever it is, "Hey, I'm walking right now." You don't post your story in the morning saying, "Hey, I'm getting up to go on a walk for first day January 1st, getting after it," because you haven't done the thing yet. You're not even doing the thing yet. You're still in fucking bed. Or you're like, you take a picture of like your tennis shoes on the floor saying, "Hey, I'm getting after," but you haven't gone outside your house yet, right? That's not when you share it, in my opinion. You share it when you're doing the thing, and then after you've done the thing, and you keep sharing it with people and keep inviting them on your journey, and that helps create the support system that helps you. So on the days when you're like, I don't feel like getting up and going out, you still tell somebody, I don't feel like getting up and going out, but then they have the opportunity to tell you, you've done this thing for 10 days straight. Don't drop it on the 11th day. You got this. Even if you're not feeling it, get after it. And then you get after it, right? So tell people about your goals constantly. Tell people about how you're feeling constantly. Invite them into the things that you are doing, not the things that you are going to be doing. The next one is rewarding yourself for a job well done, but do not berate yourself if you slip up. Reward systems have been positive reward systems have been proven to not just accelerate, but just in general increase your chance of achieving your goal versus negative self-deprecation systems, right? Negative punishment systems where, you know, I want to do this thing because I get this afterwards, not I need to do this thing so that I can avoid having this afterwards. It's I find it really interesting. I'm using running examples because it's just the first thing in my mind. But one of my sister's friends, she was running I think a half marathon or a marathon, and she was like, "I'm so excited for the pizza party afterwards as well." So when she runs the marathon and her legs are just dead, she can just sit there and eat pizza. And that's a very good positive reward system. I wanna get after it, I wanna achieve this goal, but I also want that pizza party at the end of it, right? I wanna go work out today because after I get done working out, I can have this massive big bowl of food that I wanna eat, right? And the food can be healthy for me, and it's gonna taste great, but I get it after I go work out. You know, um, I lost what I was gonna say, but reward yourself for a job well done. Now, if there's a day that you slip up, right? If there's a day that you slip up and you just don't. A lot of the times people get upset that they try to do these 30-day challenges and they drop off on day like 16. 15 days they were doing it, 16th day something came up, something happened, work ran late, family issues happened. They just couldn't do what they wanted to do. Whether it's I wanted to read 30 minutes of today, I wanted to go on my walk, I wanted to go work out, I wanted to send out that email newsletter, etc. I wanted to type up, uh, emails to those 5 clients, etc. Right? I just didn't do what I wanted to do today. Don't berate yourself. The last thing that you should do is say, "God, I'm a fucking idiot. I always do this, man. I always slip up in the middle. Of course I did. I always do it." I shouldn't have even tried. Why did I even try? Don't do any of that. That doesn't help you at all. That's not gonna help you at all, right? What you say is, "That's okay. Shit happens. Let's get back on it tomorrow." Or, "I still have time today before I sleep. Can I get it in?" You know? "I couldn't go work out today, but can I get in 10 push-ups, 10 squats in right now?" Right? I couldn't go on a walk today, but can I just get in some, like, 10 to 15 minutes of mobility and flexibility training to still open up my lower back, open up my thighs, open up my chest and upper back. I've been feeling tight today. Can I still do that instead? Right? You if you approach it in a very positive, optimistic light, you will be astounded by, just how much better it feels, how much lighter you feel, and the next day when you're trying to get back on it or doing the same thing again, you think, "I'm so glad that I didn't quit yesterday, but I'm also happy that I didn't yell at myself yesterday." Because you don't like it when somebody else yells at you. Why do you yell at yourself? You don't like it when somebody scolds you. Why do you scold yourself? Well, it's the only way that I can get myself to do things. No, it's not. That's just the only way that you know that you'll do things. But why not just try being kinder to yourself, right? Can't hurt. It can't Kindness cannot hurt you when it's coming from yourself. So why not try that instead? The next thing to consider when creating goals is plan how you'll achieve it now, not in January when you want to be doing the thing. Or let me reset that. Plan how you'll achieve it now, not in January when you want to be doing the thing, not planning to do the thing. So whatever plans you have for next year, think about them now. Think about doing them now. Think about January 1st, what am I doing? I know that people love the first of the year as one of the things, as just like the start off, the jump off point. It's called the fresh start principle. And essentially people love temporal like time markers in starting things. The first of the month, the first of the year, the first of the quarter, um the beginning of the day, etc. They like it because starting at the beginning, starting fresh, like just basically fills your motivation up to max. This is the first day. I gotta get it. But what you don't want is if you're planning to go to the gym on January 1st because your goal is to get back after it, go to the gym. Why are you drinking yourself into and blacking out the 31st night, right? How You're not setting yourself up for any sort of success for January 1st by drinking yourself into like just oblivion and then crashing into your bed that night or like sleeping late or whatever it is, right? So think about tomorrow. Think about the beginning of the year. Think about what do I want to be starting then? How can I support myself now to get that done then? Um, the next one is something that I try to caution myself on, and I want to caution you guys on it as well, is don't set too many goals to work on at the same time. If you have multiple goals, time gate them. And by that, I mean, we all have goals for ourselves. We do want to eat healthier and we want to go work out and we want to um, get our money right and get our budget under control. And we want to start investing and figuring out how to invest and we want to save money and we want to find a better job and we want to have time to like take some courses and upskill ourselves and we want to spend more time with family or more time with my partner or things like that and we want to have new experiences this year that we didn't get to have last year and so there's so many things that you want and you can't get after those you can't get after every single one of them every single day. That's just not going to happen. You will one burn yourself out, two you won't have time to do all of them, and so you will start prioritizing one over the other and then one will just always happen and one will never happen. So what I would recommend is if you have a lot of goals in life in this year, etc., time gate them. What kinds of goals am I going to be getting after like every day? What kind of goals am I getting after like every week? What kind of goals am I getting after in the first quarter of the year versus the second quarter of the year? By the first quarter, I want to have done this, goal done. And the second quarter, I want to do this instead. Don't even think about that thing happening in the second quarter until April, right? So if you have so many goals, time gate them. Tell yourself, here's when I want to start working on this stuff. Here's when I want to achieve this goal, right? Not all of your goals are going to be achieved by the end of, by March 31st. Some of them might take you into September. Some of them might take you all year. Some of them actually might just take you the first month of January, right? So time gate your goals. That way you have something to look forward to without overwhelming yourself. And, you know, you're not trying to pick up a 45, not a 45, 100-pound weight when you're only capable of picking up 20 pounds right now, right? That's just not setting yourself up for success. And the last thing, which kind of goes into the one before it, is respect the time horizon. A lot of the stuff that you may want is not going to come easily and it's not going to come quickly. It's almost never going to be as quickly as you expect. So respect the time that it's taking to achieve your goals and respect the time that it's taken other people to achieve their goals. I know it's tough to think about like, hey, I'm trying to lose weight and I could only lose like 1 pound a week, but my buddy over here is losing 2 pounds a week and it feels like we're doing the same thing. That's frustrating because that means it's going to take double the time for me to get to my goal. But respect the fact that your body is different than somebody else's and it's just taking you longer because of the method that you're doing, right? Um, if you're trying to start a business, respect the fact that you may not be profitable for the first 6 months, but that seventh month you might get like $5 of profit and enjoy that 5 months and respect the fact that it took you 6 months of learning and struggle and getting after it day after day, setting up this business, setting up this new thing for your life. And all those fruits culminated in the seventh month of getting $5 of profit, right? Respect the time horizon. So I think I should respect your time and also respect the things that I'm saying and tell you what my goals are. And I will tell you almost every one of these things I'm already working on right now. I'm simply talking about them as I'm doing them going into 2026. So the first thing is to find joy in physical activity again. Go as all in as possible. I'll tell you, I started taking up taekwondo classes because I've always wanted to learn a martial art. And taekwondo has been at the top of that list, tied with qigong, but qigong is much harder to learn because people don't readily teach it. I just find qigong very interesting. But I've been wanting to learn taekwondo for years now, and I never did, mainly because have always been skeptical about people teaching martial arts that like I don't want to be scammed into like paying for classes that aren't going to be beneficial and going to teach me the culture, the movement, the right way, etc. Right? I'm not trying to go and have somebody like treat me like a minion and just do this punch, do this kick 5 times, do this thing 5 times, do this 5 times. Break this board. Congrats, you're a new belt, etc. Right? Like I want to be pushed. I want to be challenged. I want to learn about the culture and the movement and the martial art. And so I think I found a place to do that. I did a 3-class starter course this month. It kicked my ass because there's so much cardiovascular endurance involved with the movements and what we're doing. But I can already tell that it's gonna make me uncomfortable to do the things that I'm trying to do. But I can I can find excitement here. I have felt it in these first 3 classes that I can find excitement doing this thing, and so I'm gonna go as all in as possible. I'm not going back to pay I'm not paying for a gym still. Um, I'm doing this, and I'm gonna try and climb again next year. I'm gonna try and go back to rock climbing, guys. I've been very scared to do that because of my wrist, and I'm still scared to do that because of my wrist, but I'm gonna try to do it the right way, be conscious of my form, not ego climb, etc. And I'm going to take care of my fingers and my wrists and my forearms and try and condition them. And but I know that 2022 Arish would hate to see us not climbing. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to remember 2022 Arish. I'm going to go as all in as possible on taekwondo the same way I did when I went all in on calisthenics, and then I'm going to try and climb again. So that's the first goal per se, is, you know, doing those two things. Taekwondo classes have already been paid for, and I'm gonna be starting here in the new year. And in terms of rock climbing, my sister's my wife's colleague, climbs frequently, and he said, "Yo, just ring me up. You can come with me for free for a class," and I'm gonna do that in January itself. I'm gonna make sure I do it in January at least once, you know? So that's the first one. The second one is finding pockets of excitement and actually doing them. And by that I mean like because I've been so depressed the past almost 2 years now, nothing has made me excited in general. Literally nothing excites me. This year, one of the big things that excited me was one, the Strength of the Few launch, which is one of the books that I've been highly anticipating this year. It's this one right here. It was a big, it was kind of a disappointment. I was really excited about reading Reckoning Book 4, the Songs of Chaos series, which is this book right here. Um, I was really excited about the Now You See Me movie that came out. It's number 3 in the series, and so I was super excited about that, and I asked my wife, "Can we please go to the movies and watch it?" And we did, and it was fun. It was exciting to me. Um, but aside from that, a lot of things just didn't excite me this year, and it really sucks. Even the week-long trip I took to Switzerland, the road trip that I went to Italy, like, I was interested and engaged and having a good time. But leading up to it, I wasn't necessarily like excited and jumping up and down. I didn't get those like that feeling in my gut, etc. I want that like I want that excited feeling in my body that makes me think, is this anxiety? Is this excitement? I don't know, but I'm here for it. That's what I want. So I'm trying to find like pockets of that again in my day to day life, or creating those pockets to do the thing, right? So that's what I'm kind of trying to do next year, is finding those moments kind of based on what I saw this year, right? Like, okay, well, movies are exciting you. Maybe, you like to look forward to books and things like that. Find books to look forward to, find animes that you're watching to look forward to and be excited about watching them when you wake up in the morning. I was actually pretty excited about the Percy Jackson season 2 that came out. So I, read book 2, and I've been watching and recording reactions to those, and I kinda have to edit one today. I've been lax on that. It's episode 4 or 3 now. Um, so, like, finding and really latching onto those pieces of excitement, so hopefully more come, and or I just kind of open myself up to being more excited about things that previously I was just like, "Eh," you know? The next one is spending more time finding different experiences to share with my wife, because that's one thing that I am not the best at, is finding things for us to do. Imma be honest, I like to let her find those things, and I realize that I've just been a not very present partner. Um, so I'm trying to, you know, find new experiences for us to do. I just don't want every time we go out to be a date night and we're eating something, right? Like, can we go do something together? Can we go like whether it's mini golf or hiking, or can I bring her with me? Can we both go to like a workout class, or can we? There's this like exhibition happening. Can we go to that? Like those kind of things that I want to really hone in on next year. And I want to be a part of the experience, right? I don't want it to be like my wife is telling us, "Hey, we're going here on this day," and I'm just like, "Okay, cool, let's do it." Right? I want to be like, "Hey, we're going here on this day, this time. You need to be ready by this time. No dress code. Is there? Do you want to match outfits, etc." Right? Like like telling her, "Here's what we're doing," instead of being told, "Here's what we're doing." Um, and I've been working on this throughout the entire year, so I've gotten better at it towards the second half of the year. And listen, dudes, I get that we may not be the best at this, but we can do it. We can do it. I promise you. We may not be the best at it, guys, but we can do it. Okay. And if there's any, and whoever's watching this, if you're a man and you have struggled with this, or you are pretty good at this, tell me your secrets. DM me right now so I can be better at this, because I'm not good at it. Um, the next one is just a continuation of this year, right? I want to continue the podcast and continue the book content, see what happens in this next year. Um, Still trying to do weekly uploads for the podcast. I'm not doing weekly uploads for the book channel. I'm just trying to make good content, right? For me, what I've been lacking in my content is an engaging topic, maybe some B-roll, maybe some music or sound effects, like basically making the best package that I can, um, and then seeing what happens, essentially. I'm not putting too much stake on this goal. We're just gonna keep going and see what happens, and I'm gonna put in the best effort that I can. And if, you know, like what happened when I got the flu, if I miss a week because of something, I'm not gonna beat myself up about it, and I will just on to the next week and, work as hard as I can and plan as hard as I can for that not to happen. Uh, I do want to revisit the Fableware website and set it up. I have a couple of new design ideas that I think at this point might be the final like design ideas that I have for Fableware. I've been have these ideas for weeks now, and I haven't done anything because I've just continued to put all my energy into the books and podcast. But this is something that I'm paying for, the domain and the shop and the website and stuff, and I'm not doing anything on it. And you know, can't expect anything to come out of it if I'm not doing anything on it. So in the first quarter of the year, I want to reset up certain things. I want to set up new things and basically get it actually work on it to where I'm satisfied with the website and then start running ads. Those are the two things that I want to do. And this is specifically in the first quarter. This is what I want to do in the first quarter of the year. That way I'm not putting it off. A lot of these things kind of happen throughout the year, but I don't want to put this one off specifically. The next one is meditating. Um, I do want to get to the point where I'm meditating daily, and I'm nowhere near that yet. So I want to work on meditating 3 times a week. And by meditating, for me, it is lying down on the ground, like body flat, hands flat, like palms forward, and just meditating for as long as I'm able to hold the concentration. And as I do it longer, I want to be able to get to about 15 to 20 minutes right now. I'm not going to push it, but within the first month, in January, I want to be able to meditate 3 times a week and do it for about like get up to about 15 minutes of like meditation. And I know that people say like there's different ways to meditate, and I have felt that, right? I don't necessarily do that type of isolated, immobile meditation. There's a lot of times when like the walk for me is meditation, or reading for me is a form of meditation. Um, but what I'm challenging myself to do is actually take part in this stationary form of meditation because it itself has a specific benefit for me that I'm trying to get out of it, which is a clear mind and like sifting through everything that's in my mind because it's so like a tornado in there. That way I can more easily focus on the things that I want to be doing that day, that moment, etc. The next one, and this is for like the podcast channel and for my own business knowledge, is I want to read Main Street Millionaire by Cody Sanchez. I've had this since I think 2024 or whenever she first dropped this. I've had this since then, and I just haven't read it. And I want to, and I want to talk to you guys about it the same way that I did for whatever it's called, Five Types of Wealth by Sahel Bloom. So I want to go through this. I want to um, annotate it, mark it up, get all the stuff that I can out of it, and then I'll talk about it with you guys. What I learned, what I enjoyed about it, um, and then see what happens there. Maybe I don't know if this is going to inspire me to change course in life or not, but I think more information can't hurt me if I, work through it the right way. And my way, I think, is a good way for me right now. Um, Main Street Millionaire is going to happen in Q1, though. I'm not going to put it off until like middle of the year. It's going to happen in Q1. Still work on what I want to do in life. Yeah, that's one of those ones that's just like vague, just like area. It's like, what do you want to do in life? But like, it's just something for me to kind of think about throughout the years. Like when I find opportunities to get out of the position that I'm in now, do I want to take them or do I not? You know? This one is something very specific, not very specific, but it's just plan more trips to see friends outside of the trips that I take with my wife. and not let the trips with friends affect the time that I spend with my wife. But I do want to make a bigger effort to see friends because I've noticed that when I have this year, I felt really good. And when I haven't this year, I felt pretty bad. So I definitely want to make an effort to at least if drive to go see friends who live in like Washington, drive to go see friends who live in Jersey, fly back down to Texas. Even if I'm the one paying the money for it, I want to fly down and just hang out with friends for like a weekend or whatever it is, right? Maybe do like a weekend thing if I can invite people in. Hey, everybody come to my hotel room. Let's hang out. Let's chat. Let's go eat. Let's have some good conversations. Some of y'all come on the podcast in person, please, and things like that, right? So that's one of the goals that I want to do this year because I just think it's important. I just think it's important. And what I've been lacking the past few years is that connection to friends that's been affecting how I feel mentally, you know? So and the last thing is dance more. This one's a tricky one. This one's a tricky one because it's not that I didn't dance this year. It's just I found myself only dancing in moments of overwhelming emotional like feelings or just this feeling of like the feeling of being overwhelmed and not being able to manage how I feel emotionally. And that's when I dance and it takes all that out of me. And then I am like calmed down. I've calmed myself down. And then I'm able to get after it again, whatever it is I was trying to do. Or, the end of the day, I dance and then I just like relax and I sleep and I wake up the next morning feeling refreshed. Um, I don't know if, you know, it's just the physical activity of dancing that was helping me with my emotional regulation when I was doing it more often in college and a little bit after I graduated, or if it was specifically the movements that I do in when I dance, whether it's the waving or the popping or the hip hop or the juking. I don't know if it's those specific movements that are, you know, helping me with emotional regulation, but I do recognize that they're really important, and I really need to get back to it. Um, and so I want to find a pocket of time every week to just come into my office, put on some music, don't turn the camera on, and just dance for like 10, 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes sometimes if I just go through the list of songs that I've been enjoying the past few weeks and just dance and just let some things out. That is a weekly thing that I would like to do. And I think the culmination of all these goals and all these like attempts at creating behaviors in 2026 is going to just naturally lead to a better 2026 for me. I don't expect 2026 to be so drastically better than 2025. I was kind of expecting 2026 just to be a continuation of 2025, just like keep things going. But I can make these little changes in these certain places and just, hopefully have a better year and not get too bogged down in the middle of the year around like May, April, June is kind of when I get my April, May, June is kind of when I get my like Q2 is what am I doing? What was I supposed to be doing this year? Oh, it's so late now. I can't start these things, etc. Right? So I wanted to share these things with you guys. I wanted to talk about them more often during the podcasts as I do them later, like throughout the year. Like keep talking about these goals with you guys and see if you know how it helps, how it turns out. But yeah, that's my motto for 2026. Right? Remember 2022 Arish. These are my handful of goals that I have for 2026. Remember those 5 things that I said in the middle of the episode about how what to consider when you're creating your goals, right? We're going to recap them real quick. Tell people about it constantly while you're doing the thing, not before you've done the thing. Reward yourself for a job well done, but do not berate yourself if you slip up. Plan how you will achieve it now, not in January when you want to be doing the thing. Don't set too many goals to work on at the same time. If you have multiple goals, time gate them, and then respect the time horizon and respect the time it takes to achieve your goals. So remember those 5 things. Create your goals for 2026. Create your models for 2026. If you need an accountability partner, you know where to find me. And I will 100% keep you accountable because that's what I do with my friends. I ask them, "Hey, have you done this? Hey, what about this? Hey, didn't you say you were gonna you're thinking about doing this? How's that going?" I do that with my friends because I care about y'all. And so if you need somebody, come here. Come right here. I got you. Okay? That being said, thank you for listening today. I appreciate you. Hopefully, your 2025 is ending very well. You're spending time with family and friends and spending time in a very good mood. Just remember, don't eat a lot of shit and drink a lot on the 31st. You can get after your goals on January 1st. I will catch you guys next week for a interesting episode that I have planned. And yeah, enjoy and bye bye. Peace.